Okay, as promised, three-time Super Bowl champion, your pal and mine, Devin McCourty, is here to talk Patriots defense, what's working, and a big game on Sunday, which is now closer because this is officially Friday morning, AFC Championship Eve. And this comes a week after Jason mistakenly found himself a Mike Giardi's podcast. And I don't know what minor sob story that Mike told him that his dog had surgery or he got a fender bender to get Jason on. I thankfully just get to ask Devin, would you like to talk some football? And he's here. So are you ready to talk some football?
I am. And Mike takes a shot at me on the podcast as if he didn't text me first. And then he's talking to me and he's like, because your brother never answers me. And I text my brother. I go, hey, Girardi said you never answered his text messages. It's the only reason he was on the podcast because he responded from a text message like 8 months ago. And then he ends up on the podcast. So I'm the only reason he got him. And then he takes a shot at me.
So the idea was to use, 30 to 60 seconds of us talking football as like the promo, the clip, the social media thing to get you hooked. I think we might have it already. Like if the rest of the episode sucks, we're good. You just delivered absolute gold in the front end. Thank you very much. I don't know what the opposite of gold is, but I want to start here just because I'd be reluctant not to ask you about the 2 times you were in this exact situation on the road, Denver, AFC Championship game, even 3 p.m. We don't have to do the House of Horrors thing or even altitude if you don't want. Just like a story, just a quick anecdote, like this is what it was like for the people who weren't watching at home.
Yeah, for one, I think there's no connection to our games and this game coming up.
Right.
Like, I think altitude is real. I think when you go play there, it affects you differently each time. Like there was times I went there and I felt awesome. 2012, we went there and I felt terrible. Like I think it was the first time I ever played there. And it was like, man, Bill kept saying it's all BS, blah, blah. And we got there and I was like, this ain't BS. This is real and struggle. But all the other times I was there, like I felt good. And, I think the thing as we go back and think about these games, 2013, Aqib Talib gets hurt. It was the biggest thing in the game. Like we're playing right with him. He gets hurt in the game. We're a man-to-man matchup team where he's on Demaryius Thomas, Alfonso Dennard is on Decker, and Kyle Arrington is on Wes Welker. Totally gets thrown out of the window once he gets hurt. That was a huge part of that game. In 2015, I thought they just outplayed us by 2 points. Like it was an 18-20 game. Not the impact, I think, of traveling or anything else. And I get it. Those narratives are created when we went to Kansas City. It was all about we haven't won a playoff game on the road, and then we go win that game and win the Super Bowl. So I think this team, there's obviously not a guy, I don't think, on the team. And there's probably not a guy on the staff either. So there's not a real connection to that. But I get it why it's talked about. I think winning road playoff games is real. Like Josh Allen won his first one. As good as they've been in the playoffs and as good as he's been, like it's just real because the best teams earn home field advantage and then you try to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think McDaniels would be the only one, but he comes and goes so often. You're like, this is new Josh. This is Josh 3.0. It doesn't really count. And then Ivan's bouncing around still somewhere. So like, I don't think
he's kind of still on the staff.
Yeah. He's just like, you can't get rid of him. Which look, I would never want to get rid of him. If Ivan wanted to be a co-host in this podcast, I would tell him yes. Go ahead.
Hey, that would be comedy.
Yeah. All right. Looking at the defense, I've been really excited to talk to you about this because this has been the story of their playoff run, right? Like you allow 1 touchdown in each of your first 2 games. Drake May has a slow start. He's fumbling. He's taking sacks. He makes the plays late. We still give him the flowers, but we gave away a lot of flowers first to the defense because they deserved it. Aside from them being healthy, Milton's back, Splain's back, and they're blitzing more now, even though Zach Core, it shocks him when we bring that up yesterday in the press conference. Oh, I don't know. It's a game-to-game decision. I don't even know how much we're blitzing. How much has the defense flipped the switch, and how are they doing it?
I think it's been it again. I'm not there, and I don't know Zach Core personally, but it feels very game planned now. It doesn't feel like, and I think that's why he answered that way. It doesn't feel like it's this attitude and mentality to like let's blitz more necessarily of like, hey, this is our strength. This is their weakness. This is how we need to attack it. It feels a lot of we're coming into the game. You go against the Chargers. We're coming in. This team's offensive line, they've struggled a little bit. It's not just like we're going to get down and we're going to come after you. It's we're going to show here, and then we're going to come from the other side. It's we're going to put the two linebackers in both the A gaps, and we're not even going to blitz this time, where it's going to look like a simulated blitz, but we're going to pop somebody out, and we're only going to send 4, but we're going to force communication. We're going to make you realize who's the free guy. And I felt like that's been more of it. It's been, okay, we're going to put somebody here, but now Milton Williams is healthy and Barmore is in there. You got to decide, do we leave Milton Williams one-on-one and worry about 5 down and picking up this one guy that might come or might not come? And then what I've loved about what they do is the secondary pressures. It's Marcus Jones, it's Woodson, it's Hawkins, it's Carlton Davis from the edge at corner. It's so many different possibilities, I think, is what's made them really good. It's hard to come in and say, hey, on 2nd and 8, they run these 2 pressures. On 2nd and 12, they only run. It's just kind of spin the dial, what we used to call it of. They're going to just run different things. It's going to be man blitz, zone blitz, simulated pressure into a fire zone with only 3 guys short, 3 guys deep. It's going to be some type of pressure with 2 deep. Oh, then sometimes it's going to just be flat out cover 4, and it makes the quarterback and the offensive line have to work all game. I love it. I love when you play defenses like that. My rookie year, we were like that. It was spin the dial. I think it's a lot of fun for guys on defense because it's tough. It's challenging to prepare what you're going against and be ready to do all these different things. Like, that's hard to do. So they've been a lot of fun to watch these last 2 weeks.
A few things on that, and I think those points are all really well taken and spot on because, I know when they're kind of turning the dial up, forget spinning it, to all of that schematic diversity, like, okay, I can see things are different. I can tell you, the inner details and mechanics in some of those calls, but I know they're kind of doing something different here. The phrase spin the dial, I imagine it's back to rotary phones. Do you know where that comes from? Because explaining a rotary phone to like Marcus Jones, who's a smart guy, you love him, I love him too, would just, I think, have to be like, what are you talking about? Like, what did you take?
You gotta bring it down, and you gotta take it like to the arcade when you do like the Wheel of Fortune things and those spins, and you gotta tell them like, you spin it, and whatever it comes up, we just got all these different defenses, and whatever comes up is a defense you run. That's always how I've thought of it, because nobody knows what the rotary phones are now.
Yeah.
But yes, I think I fully get what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. The DB blitz is a good one too, and this reminds me of 18 with you guys, which is not, again, to compare teams or how they're doing it, but like, I remember that year Flo unlocked you as a blitzer, and guys who, opponents could just count on, hey, they might blitz, but we at least know where it's probably going to come from, and that is a wrinkle that you can definitively point to and say, all right, this is not just cool that this is the certain pressure, but this is additive in terms of value, because you, again, have to add and prepare for so much more as a defense. I'll give you a couple more, and you tell me which of these feels most sustainable, because takeaways is high on my list of like, okay, how are they turning this around? Averaging more than 2 per game. They've had 5 straight games with the takeaway in this recent stretch. I do think, like you said, they settled into identity. There's a little bit more pressure. You're also getting contributions from guys like Corey Durden, who is now a PFF darling, and deservedly so in terms of pass rush win rate. Anthony Jennings, welcome back, dude. Great to see him as a pass rusher. And then this is just me, serving this up to you. Craig Woodson, who we all know now had that pick. I would give you an open field tackle in the Chargers' first or second drive of the wild card game, and I'm going to go, oh, look at him trigger and just get there and deny a lot of yak on a screen to the left. Without those guys filling in around Milton Williams and Robert Spillane, I don't think you get the whole defense coming together the way that it has.
Yeah, and I think that's the good and the bad about injuries, right? Like, the run defense went downhill a little bit when Milton Williams went out, but Corey Durden and the amount of time he had to play in there, it was like, oh man, okay, he's playing pretty good ball. They're just asking a lot of him right now. Now all of a sudden you get Milton Williams back, you get Durden's best snaps. The amount of plays he plays, he's able to play his best possible snaps. And now that makes you a better football team. And I had said it earlier in the season. I don't know what podcast or what I was on, and I was asked about Craig Woodson. And I said the thing that stuck out to me was his consistency. I said, when you watch a young player, a rookie playing safety, and really any defense nowadays, that's a lot of pressure. Communication, where to line up, how to tell other people where to line up. And Jalen Hawkins goes out and misses, I think it was a game or 2 games, and they don't miss a beat. And communication, how they're playing, that's on him. Like, that is fully on him stepping up and being in that role. Even if there's other veterans who come in to replace Hawkins, you're the guy who's been in there. You're the guy who understands. You have to take over that. And I said at that time, I said, the playmaking will come. When you keep showing up and you're in the right spot over and over again, and you're making tackles in the middle of the field, you're showing up, nobody goes crazy about that. But like, when you do that over and over again, and now you get in these games where all those plays matter, the ball starts finding you. And I think that's definitely what has happened for him, of just now being in those spots where, all right, this ball gets tipped up. I've been here all year. Finally, it gets tipped up to where I'm at and I get an interception. But if you watch him, breaks on the ball, like guarding guys, like, he's just been in great position all game. And I think, like you said, the versatility they have between him, Hawkins, and Marcus Jones, of, are they nickel defenders playing man-to-man? Are they safeties? Are they doubling guys? Like, it's been a lot tougher, I think, on quarterbacks when you have to look at that and decipher who's where and where are these guys going. Like, man, Woodson's down, but Woodson doesn't usually blitz. Oh, no, he is blitzing now. Like, it's a lot to talk about. And you force teams within games to get to the sideline and adjust. And I always thought about, if you can make people adjust in the game, is their coaching staff good at it? And do they have enough that, yes, the coaches can figure it out, but do they have enough kind of camaraderie with the players? Have they been through enough to say, hey, remember in week 3 when we ran this, let's get back to that? Like, you force that kind of communication, and that's not always easy, from all offensive coordinator to quarterback to the line, then to the skill positions. And I think they're forcing that communication now.
Yeah, and Craig, too, to his credit, I mean, he's an older player, so he came in from an NFL-friendly scheme at Cal, and then, could take on, I think, a little bit more mentally than most rookies. But there's also the mental piece of, hey, when they're picking on me and we're a man in the red zone, and I've given up a couple of touchdowns, because everyone does, you play enough man coverage in the red zone, it just happens. Can you push through that? And he's been, to your point, the same dude, if not the best version of himself, through a long physical season, through getting picked on, and through having all these different assignments, which then unlocks, forget like the post-snap blitzing stuff, the disguise piece, which is forcing guys like Justin Herbert to hold on to it a little bit longer, and CJ Stroud to go, okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be pre-snap. And they had a consistent quarters check, but it was based on their formations, according to my guy, Cody Alexander, who's a longtime coach, came on a couple of weeks ago. And like, look, when they were in 3-by-1 versus 2-by-2, they were making checks on the fly like that. But sometimes that motion across the formation from 3-by-1 to 2-by-2 is fly motion, or it's jet, and it's just, you got to go, which means your communication has to be on point between the three of them, and that's been there. To me, that feels sustainable for Sunday. Like, we talk about disguise. Sean Payton brought it up on his own, saying this is going to be a big part for us, is uncovering their coverage. I think the blitzing is sustainable. The contributions probably too. The turnovers, though, I don't know, because those just kind of come and go. So what do you think is the stickiest part of this kind of turnaround for them that you go, I know I'll see this again on Sunday?
I think it's what you started with. It's definitely the disguise. And I think it's the disguise and taking it to another level of, okay, we know we've disguised these coverages, right? We've disguised cover 3 into an inverted cover 2. Like, we've done these things. But the thing is, when you're playing against great offensive coordinators, they know what you know. So like, Sean Payton's going to come in. Is it going to be up tempo, get straight on the ball and force communication? Is it going to be let's start empty, see what they do if we go in empty and then come back in? Are we going to motion out and then motion back? Like, they're going to have something that triggers your disguise and how to try to get in front of it. I think for them, and what I've loved is when we talk about guys being hurt and guys coming back, when you have Spillane now back in the Charger game, the Chargers decide to go empty. They go empty. The Patriots check. They check to their empty check. They come back in. The Patriots go back to another call. You don't feel as confident unless you have like your main guy in there. So like, I used to love that, because when I first got to New England going against Brady every day, he was like, F it, we're not in a game. There's no play clock out here. You guys going to check? He would keep checking. And Mayo would be out there like, if they check, we check. If they check, we check. And he'd be yelling and they would check. And then Mayo would check. And we'd be going back and forth. And we were laughing and joking in practice doing that until Bill got pissed off with it. But like you think about how that plays out in the game, because I think this game will be decided midway through the second quarter and on, because we're going to see both teams kind of play their chess match and do different things early in the game. And then the game kind of settles in. And there'll be one big adjustment that comes up in the game, and whoever handles it better will really determine the game. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And it makes me remember, last thing, it makes me remember being at the preseason games, and it was in Minnesota, I think, and Zach Kerr was a defensive coordinator. And we talked to Vrabel going into the game about, you're moving guys around, Terrell Williams, he's going to kind of be a pseudo head coach. Like, what does this mean? And he talked about, my job is to develop the coaching staffs. Like, they all have aspirations and different things they want to do. I had that as an assistant coach. I want to give that to them. And who would have knew, like, now you look forward and you look at Zach Kerr, and like, he was meant to be in this. Like, they've been preparing for him to be in this situation. And I think it's been really cool to see that he's just been in this transition into this spot that he didn't plan on coming into. And he's hit the ground running. He's probably had his best games later in the season, which to me is really cool to see.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And that speaks to, guys coming off the bench, like we talk about players. They need that from your coaching staff has to outperform too, in a way.
Yep.
I think Zach Kerr is the clearest example, which, I've made fun of him saying yesterday, again, I don't know our blitz rate, it's game to game and week to week. I say that because I know he's a really smart guy. Like, he's got a brother at Harvard, and people on staff speak of him as like, oh, this makes total sense. He was coaching offense 5 years ago and is now leading the defense as the play caller. I mean, no, I'm sorry. That doesn't make sense. Well, it does if you know him. And he was even talking about, in 21, they're in Tennessee and he's in the booth and he's got the grunt work of like, I have to chart the personnel when they're in 21 and 12 and 13 or 11, whatever it is. He goes, I had to be so locked in because of how much Sean Payton was doing. Yeah. And that's a small little anecdote, but it illustrates that he understands that challenge from 4 years ago is going to echo into Sunday. Yeah. And the person now doing that job is going to have to inform him so he can make the right call and go, because as Vrabel said, there's no perfect call, but there is a decisive one that kind of at least gets you in position, and that's what they're going to need. All right, I want to ask you about Sean Payton offense here. And by the way, this is not to, be over the top, but I freaking loved that preview and tease about the game. Like, NBC is unfortunate they don't have the game on Sunday because it's going to come down to the second quarter and the adjustment. Like, the nerd part of my brain got brain goosebumps. And that's probably our actual clip. Look, the Broncos didn't want to have to pay Jarrett Stidham until they had to pay a backup quarterback to be a starter in a big spot. And this is an easy analogy, if there ever was one, for life insurance, which I've told you before. I just had a baby and I got to think about things that are serious as life insurance. And Ethos right now is hanging out with us. And I got to tell you, I'm glad they are, because even if you feel pretty good about your life insurance, this is the fastest, easiest way to get life insurance because it's 100% online. So take a look. You can get a quote in seconds. You apply in minutes. You get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage, even with policies that are as low as $30 a month. No medical exam. You just answer a few simple questions. And as I've said before, because I just think it's this important for something that you might just be hearing about for the first time, Business Insider, big fan of Ethos. #1, no medical exam, instant life insurance provider as of March 2025. So protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now. Go to ethos.com/all32, ALL32. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/all32. That is ETHOS.com/all32. Ethos.com/all32. Application times and rates may vary. Anyway, we have to talk about Prizepicks really quickly because they have been good to this podcast the whole season. And this is a place where people win money when they watch sports and you pick a lineup and a player, stats, passing yards, touchdowns, whatever it is. I give out picks every single week. But the bottom line is, if you want to kick back and have $50 in play money, $50 in lineups, you sign up with the Prizepicks app today. You use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, it's good to be right. You can do 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 players. You see the stat, you go more, you go less. And here's 2. And you tell me what you think of these after I'm done. Hunter Henry, more than 43.5 receiving yards. This is like one of the few weak points of this Denver defense is one-on-one versus those safeties and linebackers. And Marvin Mims, who, I believe in Marcus Jones. I don't believe Sean Payton wants to throw outside of Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis if he's available. So Marvin Mims, more than 31.5 receiving yards. Those are our Prizepicks picks of the week. go to Prizepicks, use code CLNS, get your $50 in lineups. Because there's $50 in lineups for $5. That's what I would do. What do you think of those picks? And then let's talk Sean Payton.
I love Hunter Henry because Denver is a big 5-down defensive team, whether it's 5 defensive linemen, whether it's Hufanga, whether it's Singleton or Greenlaw, one of those guys blitzing from it's a ton of that. And I always think of what does a quarterback love more when you're going to blitz? It's inside. It's right behind the blitz. It's Hunter Henry, it's Stephon Diggs, it's the back. So I definitely see Hunter Henry getting a good amount of targets in this game. And what I like about Marvin Mims is he's going to get the kind of gadget type plays too. So like the plays where he runs full speed and the quarterback catches it and just flips it forward, like that might be a 10-yard gain. Like I think he's going to get those type of plays. I think especially early on for Stiddy going out there. He hasn't been out there. Like what's the best way to kind of get a quarterback going, get him some easy completions, wide receiver screen outside right away, like those type of plays. And I think if I'm Sean Payton, who do I want to get the ball? Who do I want the ball in the hands of? It would be Marvin Mims. So 31 yards, I could definitely see. I see that showing up.
So Sean Payton, regarded as good as Andy Reid or Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan's, and I've been asking around the locker room unsuccessfully about like, okay, what makes him distinct within that tier? Like we all get that they're really good offensive coaches. I know my answer, and I've gotten a little bit of feedback, but what, as someone who's faced him multiple times and still studies his offense, like why is this so hard to defend?
I've always felt like Sean was just so multiple. It was, if you date back to the Saints with Colston and different Meacham and like speed receivers, 2 different running backs, 3 tight ends, like it was always so many ways to attack you. So like and that's why I said it's about adjustment. Like they don't know, but like Sean Payton might say, hey, this is a 3 tight end game. And out of nowhere, you're out there and you're in 13 personnel, not every single snap, but there's 12 snaps of 13 personnel. And you just didn't anticipate that coming in. Or he can come out and he decides, hey, we're going to go in 4 wide a good amount this game because he sees something that you'll attack. So we always felt like that early in the game, Sean Payton was going to run different personnel groups in and out of the game, see how you adjust this, see what you kind of did. Hey, when we go big, are you going to match us with big? Or are you going to stay nickel? All right, we go really small. Are you going to just go nickel? Or are you going to bring in another DB? Like all of those different things I always thought he was good at, but I thought he was the best at that because once he did it in the first quarter, he had a plan off whatever worked. There's some coordinators and some offenses, they just did that to see if you would go to the sideline, make a plan, and they would try to distract you from what they really wanted to do. And it was kind of not the same thing every game, but it was getting into their offense. Sean Payton has the ability, if he doesn't think that you're matching up well against one of those personnel groups, he has enough plays that they've practiced and they have it in the bank that he's like, hey, you know what? This will turn into a 2 tight end game instead. You know what? This will turn into both or all 3 running backs. If Dobbins, I don't know, Dobbins, I think he practiced. Like, hey, we haven't used McLaughlin in a while. This might be a McLaughlin game because he got 12 yards on his first run. I always think that's so tough as a defense because you can't game plan for everybody. You can't have like an intense game plan for every personnel group. It's impossible, but you got to have some stuff in the bank so that if it becomes that, you can always get to it. And that's why I truly think like this game will be decided after all the adjustments are made because I believe both teams are going to be very well prepared, but it's going to be some of the stuff they didn't practice that shows up that becomes the actual game plan. That'll be the reason why one of these teams win.
Yeah. So the answer I've gotten when I've asked around is similar to that. And it's one of the answers where I hear it often enough. I go, oh, this came up in a meeting. Like this was in squad, this was in the presentation, or this has been a variable talking point. And the guys just say, man, he's got that big damn call sheet, you know, like it's like a 3-window menu at a diner where you're going like, you don't have to make every food known to man. You can just kind of do the standard stuff. And he goes, no. I that's how they run their offense. So that volume has been what I've heard too. And I imagine, look, just kind of a pain at some point being like, this isn't the same dress up in a new formation. It's different enough that I have to study more and account for it.
And they're good at it. That's the value in it. A lot of teams can run a bunch of stuff, but they won't be good at it. Like he actually has these guys, and I think he simplifies it. Like, hey, whether we're in 12 personnel, 11 personnel, 13 personnel, this is the play. The guys doing it might change, but this is the play. And I don't think everyone's able to do that. And a lot of that has to do with who are the guys you draft, who are the guys you go after in free agency. You make sure that they are equipped to do that and handle it.
So let's say Zach Core, now on his 10th mention in this part of the podcast, calls you. And it say he called you Tuesday. He said, hey, we're going to send you a car to Jersey. We're going to bring you back up. And Wednesday, I want you to talk in our defensive meeting about a guy you were teammates with. And I believe, do you ever face him in Vegas or like have to prepare for Jarrett as an opponent? Yeah, 22. He was
he the quarterback? I think, or was
Hoyer was a backup because Jimmy got hurt when you guys were in Vegas. Okay. Well, you know him is more my point where I'm going with this. So what would you say in this hypothetical meeting about who Jarrett is, how he wants to play, and then how you think Sean will kind of not weaponize him, but steer him on Sunday?
We can't give him anything easy. We can't ever line up in it. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and my whole thing would be if I'm Spillane, if I'm Woodson, if I'm Hawkins, for me, those are the smartest guys on defenses. 2 safeties in the middle linebacker. Everybody else are dodo heads usually. But I would come in and I would say, hey, you got to tell wives, girlfriends, kids, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, leave me alone this week. Like, leave me alone. We are going all in. Hey, I would come in, hey, coach, give us everything. Everything you're thinking of, everything you guys sat down there and you kind of threw out, kept in because you thought it was too much. Give us all of it. And let's attack this week. Like, we have an opportunity to be in the Super Bowl, like to play in the Super. Like, let's master how many different calls we can get into, how you feel you can best attack Sean Payton. Give that to us and see what we can handle by Friday. Whatever we don't like, we throw out. Whatever we love, we come in with enough stuff that if we bring it out, we make Stidham have to see so much defense that he doesn't know what hit him. Because right now, they're going to go over different things. You can't possibly, and I love Stiddy, and I think Stiddy's a true pro. So he's been prepared to play for Bo Nix every week. I thoroughly believe that. But being prepared to play and being in the game and playing and seeing adjustments full speed, having that happen, he hasn't had that. He's only had that in controlled environments in practice. We got to make this game where there's no control, we got to make this hard. We got to start play one where we give them everything. And they decide to go no huddle to speed us up. We got to have a plan to still get them in no huddle. How do we get 6 down? When they go no huddle, we get everybody down on the line of scrimmage. We jump out to something different, or we come after them. Like, that would be my goal of telling coach, as a player, I want that kind of pressure on us. If we have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I want it in our hands. I want to be able to walk away and say, that was all on us. Like, we had a hell of a game plan. And if we execute it, we win. Because I think going against Stidham with Sean Payton, I don't think it's like Sean Payton, Bo Nix here, and then now Stidham's going to be down here. Like, I think Stidham's going to be pretty damn close to Bo Nix. And I know Bo Nix is a better athlete, and he's been playing more. But I think when you watch their offense, it's not like with Bo Nix, they were like out here doing all these complex things, and the offense was just hitting. Like, I think a little bit what Bo Nix struggled with and how he got it going at different times, but it wasn't all pretty. I don't think Stidham's going to be too much of a drop off from that. Like, I don't think Bo Nix and the way he's played, I don't think it's been like Drake May, where it's just like this guy in a zone, balls down the field. Like, it's been designed play action things that Sean Payton draws up against a certain defense. Stiddy's going to be able to do that. So I think they got to be ready to go like they're going against Bo Nix in a certain way.
So one of the quick differences, and then I want to get to kind of what worries you here before we get you out with a prediction. They've said is going to rip it, and that's like his attitude. And I think there's some kind of, just media speak in there. It's not like, well, we're going to go down and take as many checkdowns as possible and just cross our fingers and get out with a win. That would make me think, though, about kind of our base coverage with him, right? Like, do I dare you to be patient in a way that a quarterback in a big spot, the biggest game of his life, probably is reluctant to do, and bank on that Jarrett will force a throw and we'll get a pick that way? Or to your point, do we just spin the dial so much? I don't care if we're in single high and we give up a shot down the sideline because we have Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. Where do you lie on that versus we're going to make you earn it versus we're going to try to come after you here either with our variety and or our blitz pressure?
I never think you should just pressure. I think when you have a quarterback, if you're not sure how he's going to perform, I think blitzing him is the easiest thing for him. I think as soon as they see the blitz, attack the one-on-one matchup. Hey, you get a pass interference. Like I don't think that, but I also don't think. I think the whole he's going to come out and rip it is BS. Like he's not going to come out and just be like, we got to throw it 15 yards down the field. I think they're trying to create that sense so that the Patriots don't think that he's going to. No, he's going to be smart. He's going to be a veteran quarterback. So again, I would spin the dial, and how you decide to spin the dial, I think matters. I think you got to get a feel for it. Okay, are we going to spin the dial with more blitzes, more showing blitz, get out to different coverages? Like I think no matter what, you don't want to just play cover four where the safeties line up at 10 to 12 yards, the corners line up off, and we just think, oh, like corners move up. Hey, start in single high, spin it to here. Hey, Marcus Jones, we got you going back to the half. We got the safety drive. I think doing stuff like that, because you have a group who's now played together for a whole season, they feel so comfortable in this defense. Let's switch positions. Let's do all those different things that we practice. I think that's what makes it hard on a quarterback, not necessarily like disguising only the blitz. It's having guys all different places, which makes you say, and I think that's what happened to Herbert. It was like, okay, I'm in single high. Oh, no, it's not single high. It's an inverted cover two. Oh, now the pressure's getting here, sack or incomplete. Like I think that's the key to trying to make it tough on a quarterback.
So what worries you, if anything? Because they're average statistically, you got a backup quarterback, good offensive coach, but inevitably, like the cards that you hold are the cards that you hold. You know, there's not changing them here in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think the worries, I think Denver is just as good of a football team with Stidham in there. Like, again, no disrespect to Bo Nix. This team is built off playing good defense, taking advantage of, we got you. We finally got you in the coverage that we like, shot down the field. Bo Nix holding the ball. You don't do a good job in pass rush lanes. 12 yards down the field, 15 yards. He scrambles or he gets outside the pocket, buys more time. I think they can still play that game. And I think now you're on the road. They get to play their game. It's a 4-point game, 3-point game, all game. And now it comes down to you need to go and drive the field to kick a field goal, and you're going against this defense. Or Sean Payton, can he engineer a one drive with Stidham? Like, I think they can play that style. Like, I think everybody here is backup quarterback, and they're like, well, they better win. They got a backup quarterback. But like Denver wasn't this team that they relied on their quarterback to go out there and get them 35 points a game because they're going to give up 33 points a game. Like, no, this team, like their style of play is still very much intact. Now, the key is Bo Nix made a lot of fourth quarter clutch plays, either running, throwing. Now, do they have that? That is yet to be seen. So like that worries me a little bit because I don't want it to come down to that. I want to have a 10-point, 17. I want to have a 2-score lead going into 4 minutes in the game. Like I want to feel good about that. And I think they have to do a good job being smart on offense. Denver hasn't been as good on defense when it comes to the running game and different things like that that showed up in the Buffalo game. I think they got to attack and play well on offense and then count on the defense to be good. But the offense can't come out and say we're going to turn the ball over and do all these different things because Stidham's not going to do what C.J. Stroud did last week and turn the ball over and do all that. He's not going to help his team lose. I just don't see that.
I hope no quarterback, for their own sake, does what C.J. Stroud did last week.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
as a defensive guy, there had to be a like, bruh, like, come on, can we get the ball out of the dirt or just not to the other team?
Yeah.
That's all well taken, and it's really interesting because I do think there will be an element here of the unexpected between altitude, crowd noise, Sean McVay's game plan that really has to manifest in the first quarter. Yeah, Sean Payton. What happens after that is going to be the key, as you said in the second quarter. How do the Patriots settle in and settle down? I think they win 26-20, but it does get to the fourth quarter, and you're going, uh-oh. Is Jarrett Stidham like never going to have to buy a drink in Denver again? What happens after the second quarter, as you've laid it out here? Who wins and why?
I'm with you. I think the Patriots win. I think they'll be able to get to more different things within their game plan to adjust. I think the whole year's worth of having pretty much your whole team healthy on the field, in the playoffs, AFC Championship game, I think that shows that that's a bigger factor than playing on the road, of being able to tell Drake May, hey, we're going to get to this. I know we haven't ran it since Tampa week, but this is going to be the key on why we win. Hey, Spillane, this is what we're going to get to. I know we haven't ran it, in weeks. And I know the last time we ran it was when you were fully healthy. Now we're going to get back to it because we wanted to do it 3 weeks ago, but you weren't out. Like, I think that's going to be the key in how they pull out the game. And I think they'll get 1 or 2 turnovers that allows them an extra possession out there. That'll be the difference in the game, where they'll win, call it, like you said, 3 to 7 or 8 points is how much they win by.
Okay. High scoring, low scoring?
Mid, I think what you said, 24-ish, 28, I think in that range. I don't see either team going over 30 points.
All right. Well, if they win, I hope to see you at the Super Bowl. It will be a full week, a long week in San Francisco. You know the drill with those Super Bowls. I'd say you're still in playoff form. This was a ton of fun. You got to go. But this is great. It was good to see you. And, man, Sunday in Denver, typically scary, but everyone's feeling pretty good. So we'll see if the history and the ghosts are really behind us, all right?
Hopefully no ghosts. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a heck of a game with these two teams. And there's some like cool former player rivalries. I went on a podcast with TJ Ward yesterday. So wow. I'm looking forward to talking some trash to some of those dudes from Super Bowl 50 that took one away from us.
Yeah, what a pull, TJ. Oh, good for him. I mean, I guess everyone's got a podcast, but he's a hard hitter. All right. Yeah. Thanks again. Enjoy the game and hope to see you soon. All right.
All right, man. Good to see you.